professional interview series. We have another great guest live today. Um, Tatiana, good to see you. For our guests that are watching the video, would you tell us your name and what you do and where you work?
Well, my name is Tatiana Chalkidou. I work at the American College of Greece, which was founded, by the way, by American missionaries from Boston. And my university is the oldest and largest US accredited university in Europe.
And what is your title? What do you do there at the university?
I am an assistant professor in the Department of Tourism, Hospitality, and Sports Management. And I have a dual position, which means that I'm teaching classes both in the sports management program and in the tourism and hospitality program.
Awesome. Where are you originally from?
I am from Athens, Greece. I was born and raised here. However, I have spent some years abroad for my studies, and this is where I met Mr. Bradley. So we met at Oklahoma State.
So before we get into your educational background, what do you do for fun? We've talked a little bit about stuff, but when Tatiana has free time, what does she do for fun?
Well, I read, and I wish I could read more. I think it keeps your mind sharp, and you get to learn a couple of things. I cook a lot, and I use my family as guinea pigs for my cooking, which is great. I try to exercise with my twin sister, and I also try to do some DIY projects. However, I don't have the space. I have some cement stored in my kitchen, which is not the ideal space. But I hope that in the future I will try to have a bigger space for all these things that I have in mind, all the projects.
So if I was going to ask your parents what your best dish is, what would they say?
Um, I think that they wouldn't have one. At least I've tried a number of cuisines. Like I do a lot of Indian cuisine, Chinese cuisine, and any type of recipe that excites me, I will kind of try that. So I don't have any specific cuisine in mind or dish.
All
I
right.
have some good. I like curry, chicken curry, a number of variations of that. I like a lot of desserts, so I don't only focus on just food. I like desserts equally.
Um, I remember at Oklahoma State, you'd have folks over to your house and cook some traditional Greek dishes, and they were fantastic. So I have no doubt you have some great stuff. So, as a foundation, tell us a little bit about what you studied at your undergraduate and your graduate degrees, and so what you studied, where you studied, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I got my bachelor's from University of Athens, and it's in physical education and sports science because initially I wanted to become a PE. And at some point, I kind of realized that I want to upgrade my studies, so I pursued an MBA from University of Leicester, and I got another master's from the same university in human resource management and development. And at some point in my life, and I hadn't planned for that, I found myself in the States working in a weight management camp. So I kind of volunteered my time there. And I was so excited about my experience in the States, and I wanted to stay in the States. So at that point, I tried to apply for positions in different school districts. And I was told that since neither of my degrees were from any US accredited university, I had to at least present one degree. So instead of just pursuing another bachelor's in physical education, I decided to go for a PhD. So I was lucky enough to be introduced to the faculty at Oklahoma State. So I pursued a PhD there. And so what I want to kind of say is that I didn't plan on becoming a faculty. It just happened by accident. However, I find that all my degrees kind of click with each other, and I have found value into the diversity of those degrees.
So in Oklahoma State's where we met, what within those you mentioned you got your a couple masters at the university. Tell us what that is and where it's at again.
It's University of Leicester in UK. And
Okay.
the first one is an MBA like business administration, and the second is in human resource management and development.
Yeah,
So they kind of complement each other. One is for kind of a more business oriented, and the other is more about human resource.
yeah, and that's why I was kind of when you said it clicked, and as you kind of walked through that, I was like, it really does. You've got the physical education, the business administration, and then the recreation stuff. So it kind of all blends together with what you're doing now, sport management and tourism and whatnot. So beyond your college experience with your education, what kind of other jobs have you had in your life that have kind of
Okay.
helped you be where you're at?
Well, that's an interesting question. Um, I have worked in all my parents' businesses. So at some point, my dad had a liquor distribution company and a liquor store. So in my teens, I knew anything and everything about wine and other liquor. Then they had a catering business, so I worked there as well. And as I said earlier, I just took one summer off because I was kind of bored into working in this type of business, and I wanted to kind of explore some other job opportunities in the States. So I kind of found this weight management camp, and I thought that if I like this model, I can take it back to Greece and I can create a similar camp in Greece.
Yeah.
However, Greeks are not very open to the idea that they're going to send their kid to a weight management camp. Now, on top of that, clearly after my bachelor degree, I worked as a temporary PE in public schools. I have also worked as an instructor for team handball. I don't know if you know the sport, but I have worked in a sport club. And upon my arrival to Greece, back from the States, I worked pro bono for the division of parks in the municipality that I reside. And I had also the opportunity to work in some events. For example, I have worked in the Athens 2004 Olympics, the Athens 2004 Paralympics, the World Special Olympics that took place in Athens 2011. I have worked in the development of Athens 2018 World Book, which is a program that promotes reading throughout the year in the capital that will be awarded this type of distinction. And so I have been involved both in event management, but also in a number of jobs that require services. So I kind of think that I have been in the service industry throughout my life. We have a number of skills that are applicable either as a person that works in a sport club or as a person that works in any other business. So that's that.
So something you mentioned, and I think some folks that may be watching this are not very well acquainted with handball, and I know that's kind of got a special place in your life. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you do or your association and your experience with
Well, team handball is not a popular sport in the States. However, it is a very popular sport in Europe. Now in Greece, it's not so popular, but I kind of started during my high school years. I was lucky enough to play for a team that played in the highest division, although it was an amateur division, so we were not paid for that. So I have played the sport, I have coached the sport, I have officiated the sports, and I use this type of background to work in the Olympics in the management of the sport. So I was the sport information supervisor at the Olympic Village. So I was kind of the link between the management of the sport and all the national teams that participated in the events for the Olympics.
Awesome. And if folks, if you have any interest, you can get on YouTube or whatnot and find a lot of different videos about it, right?
Yes.
Um, so you're faculty now. What kind of courses do you teach, and what kind of projects do you enjoy doing within your courses and with students?
I teach a variety of courses. My workload is like 8 courses per year, although usually it goes up to 10 courses. And this is mostly split between the two programs. So I probably teach 5 sport management and 5 tourism hospitality. And those can range, from the introductory course to sport management to sports operations and facilities to legal issues in sports to social issues in sports, um, to governance in sports. And when it comes to tourism, anything like service quality, introductory course to tourism, travel and transport, things like that. So I teach a number of courses that unfortunately are taught usually once per year. So that means that on an annual basis, I have to also update all these presentations and read more. Unfortunately, I don't repeat any course. I think that would make my life a bit easier, but it doesn't.
So, and I think that's a good thing to kind of go on there. Is, a lot of people don't realize that, preparing for these courses, there's a lot of background work, right? And
Mm-hmm.
these professional interviews are a part of that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you know, keeping up with the current trends, updating the information, it takes work. Um,
It does. And when it comes to assessments, unfortunately, in our university, we only assess based on tests and projects. So students are not given any type of credit for being in the classroom or for any other extra, let's say, tasks like quizzes, things like that.
yeah.
But we have a variety of projects depending on the course and depending on the level of the course. So some courses are like introductory courses, whereas others require the use of a lot of theoretical frameworks and the combination of this and further analysis. Clearly, senior students, we have higher expectations when it comes to their answers and their projects.
Something that I tell folks, and they think it's a little bit humorous, but one of my favorite courses to teach is research methods. Followed by some, there's a lot of other courses I enjoy too, but research methods just for me is the most enjoyable. I think that, finding that way to make research methods relatable to the students in a variety of ways is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
What's some of your favorite courses to teach for whatever reason, but what are some of your favorites?
I think one of my favorites is events management in hospitality industry because there's so many examples and case studies to use,
Yeah.
and I think it kind of allows the students to combine a lot of theoretical frameworks and a lot of management principles in one way, and you can see which students are more interested into pursuing a career, down the line. This is one of my favorite courses. I think that the students can get very excited.
Yeah. Um, Beyond the courses, what are some other things you like about what you do now?
What are the things? Well, the things that I like yeah, is the fact that at least when we work from campus, when we have classes on campus, is that I get to mingle and get to know all these students. We have a number of study abroad students and a couple of American students every semester. So it's a nice thing to ask about the situation in the States. So I'm always interested to learn their perspectives.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, with this situation, we don't get to have this interaction. So the interaction with students is always something that I enjoy and I look forward to.
Yeah. So something that, and I know you and I talked quite often about different things in our lives, right? But something that I'm always interested in is if if you had your dream job or your dream career that was not specifically not in academics, right? What kind of
Mhm.
career would you be looking at, or what would you like to do?
I think it would be something about services to some extent. I like teaching, but I don't want to be constrained to a university. So maybe some courses, I would consider probably doing that in the future, or I would just go strictly in a more entrepreneurial, let's say, endeavors and just try to create a product. I always thought that I would create a product, although I haven't managed to do that. But I hope that in the future I'll do that. And the problem here in Greece is that it's not so open, let's say, to entrepreneurship. I mean, it's so easy to set up a business in the States and kind of spend couple of $100 and you're up and running. Whereas in Greece, it's not the same thing. So although you can set up a company with as low capital as €1, which is like $1, for maintaining this company, you have to pay a specific tax. So it all adds up. And for just being into business, it's like €3,000, like 35, let's say $100 per year, which is so much more money to just set up a business and without even selling anything.
Sure.
So the situation here is not very friendly, but I think it's kind of changing. This whole situation is kind of changing. So probably in the future, having a company of my own would be something that I will definitely consider.
And I think you're going to do great once you go down that road. Knowing what I know about you. So to kind of round it out, you've had a great variety, diversity of experiences.
Hmm.
For students that want to explore some of the things you did in your professional path, what are some words of wisdom or some advice you would give to students that as they're managing this pursuit of theirs?
Well, I don't think that there is any perfect blueprint for life. If someone had asked me, let's say, 1 year prior to me getting to the States to, volunteer, what my life would be, I wouldn't have said that, oh, I will become a faculty. So to me, it just happened by accident to some extent. So being open to opportunities should be something that you should look forward to. Also, trying to acquire as many skills as possible. At some point, they will become, they would help you in your career. Try to network with people. You never know when a new job position or proposition will come from. The fact that I worked with some individuals for Athens 2004 games allowed me to also work with the same individuals in the Athens World Special Olympics in 2011. So try to network with people, and it's good to have connections with the industry. It's good to have connections with the academia if you want to maintain connections as well, and try to maybe set some boundaries. I may sound as arrogant if I say that you have to look out for yourself first. You have to make your wants a priority. You have to find a job that will have a purpose and a meaning to you. Don't just do something that will pay the bills. That is great, but you have to find some meaning into that. And generally try to be open. Just you're working in one state doesn't mean that you will not move elsewhere, or doesn't mean that you will not, let's say, go abroad and work in a different position in a different country. So try to be open to possibilities. They're out there all the time.
Yeah, something that you mentioned there, setting boundaries, and I remember a former mentor of mine saying, the art of saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Telling folks no or declining things in a way that you're keeping those boundaries, but you're still honoring the professionalism of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very sometimes that can be real challenging. Uh,
Yes,
Tatiana,
I.
Dr. Chalkidou, thank you so much for your time today. I sincerely appreciate it, and I appreciate you helping out and providing us a little bit of insight into your world and your thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me in your class. I wish your students the best, and I hope that in the future we can meet in person.
We
Okay.
can meet in person again.
Okay. Yes. Perfect.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.